Pisces, I'm going to go with you first. First of all, I would like to say thank you guys for tuning in to Providence Tarot. I'm Kendrick. I'll be your tarot reader and astrologer. Um, so, what's going on now? We're in Cancer season. That's a fellow water sign of yours, Pisces, right? You're the last water sign. This is the first one. This is the first sign, water sign, or the sign that makes us aware of our emotions, right? It's the unconscious emotions that are stirred up inside of us, right? That how we're affected by our environment, right? How we allow our environment and those people in our environment to make us feel. Also, it's Cancer is a cardinal sign, so it's one of the signs that sort of like gets us on the jump off of a season. We just experienced the summer solstice, so we sort of like can definitely all collectively feel that change. So we kind of like respond to it, react to it. We start going outside a little bit more. We start dressing differently. We start drinking more water, right? Bam. Okay. And bam, a 7, related to the chariot still. So, Pisces, what song was I singing in my head? Songs pop up in my head before I start doing readings for specific signs, and I forget what song came up. If I think of it again later, I'll get to it. But here we go, Pisces. I'm gonna cut your deck, and then I'm gonna lay the cards out, and I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna choose one oracle card from the Oracle of the Radiant Sun for you, and also Aries. And I will say this, the way that this structure is that I'm doing this reading for Pisces and Aries will be done for each individual zodiac sign for next month of July, and it'll be July and August, but I'm going to do 2 different readings, 2 different spreads for each sign. Okay. All right, so this is the end of the month. I'm going to abbreviate it so it's not too long, Pisces. But I can tell you that at the bottom of the deck, you have a card that is opposing you, which is Venus and Virgo. Venus is also exalted in your sign, right? So you know a thing about beauty, harmony, love, glamour, that type of thing. Wanting to get along, feeling neutral, feeling sort of like victimized by your need to beautify things for yourself and other people, because you know that other people won't be, on that same level, right? Of acknowledging that. But Venus in Virgo is in its detriment, actually. Not in its, well, yeah, it's debilitated. So, because it's in its fall, because it's exalted and uplifted in Pisces, it is going to be in its fall in Virgo. But this is just saying that, Venus has to be a little bit more discriminate, right? It has to think of ways to process things in a very meaningful way so that you can get to a point, so that you can get to a goal. The Nine of Pentacles is saying that you're starting to rely on yourself a little bit more for work and money and things like that, and how you support yourself, Pisces. It has something to do with money. It has something to do also with creativity, and how you're able to be more creative. Like, are you able to be receptive? Are you open for opportunities that might come your way? Because it's a 9, so it's related to the ninth house, which is ruled by Sagittarius. We just had that full moon in Sagittarius. Full moons bring completions. 9s are talking about getting to a point of feeling complete or feeling fulfilled. At the bottom of the deck, in this card, you have 6 pentacles on one side, and we know what that is. That's that moon and Taurus energy. And then you have the 3 of pentacles on the other side, which is Mars in Capricorn. So this is kind of like you doing the work yourself so that you can provide for yourself what it is that you need out of your experience, or what you need from yourself right now. There's something to be learned, right? Because the 9s also talk about learning through experience. So you might be going through an experience right now that you might be learning a great deal from, and this learning experience is very it's a wealthy experience. There's wealth to come out of it. It's very spiritual as well, on a personal level, because the nines are all personal cards, related to the hermit, talking about going inward. There's another side to the story as well that, we don't see, the work that's involved with that, when you provide for yourself and when you are sort of like your own manager, right? Because the Virgo is a very good manager, and Venus in Virgo is talking about, the beauty of managing oneself, right? And being able to work hard, with a purpose to create more for yourself, and the rewards that come from doing that, which that's the Six of Pentacles as well. Those are sort of like rewards, right? Things that you receive through a comprehensive understanding of what is being, you know uh, understood, right? It's kind of like, what the fuck am I saying? The Six of Pentacles, right? Six Pentacles kind of has that idea of being fair to oneself, right? And being fair to others, right? Are you relying on others too much? This is saying that you're not relying on others. You're being more self reliant, right? Because if I look at the Three Pentacles on one side, that gives me the idea of being reliant upon oneself. And then the Six of Pentacles is saying that you are investing in something, right? Or you would like to be invested in. Okay, I'm getting an idea that you need to feel like you are what people are investing in, right? Because of what you bring to the table. Okay, and it's kind of like your experience as well. Yeah, but for some reason it's kind of like, you know you feel like people might be being too critical of a process. There are like minor details that they could probably overlook, that might involve time, or it might involve availability, or it also might involve like something to do with like, your body, right? You might be feeling like your body might be stressed out of work, because the nines do talk about exhaustion as well. Work might be exhausting you, or you might be feeling exhausted from a work experience. A relationship might be making you feel like it's work, and you might be exhausted from that. Okay. Anyway, let me continue to go on. And it might actually be with the Virgo. Oh my God, you guys. Pisces. Okay, so a mutable card in the center of your reading. It is the Ten of Wands. This is Saturn in Sagittarius. And like I was saying, Sagittarius is that card of goal-oriented pursuits, right? It's a symbol of goal-oriented pursuits. You know what I mean? Like long-term goals, right? Things that you can take with you, because Saturn is talking about time, and it's the time that it takes to do something. And the tens are related to Jupiter, which is kind of like expanding something, so you have like more time on your hands or something like that. This is talking. Feel like you may not be enjoying something because it's becoming more work than you would like it to be, right? And the Empress, being the challenge or being the immediate influence, is saying that you wish that it could be easier, right? All of these cards symbolize like something being easier or wanting something to be easier. Because this is kind of like, being able to rely upon all of the things that you've set aside for yourself, and being happy with work, being happy with money, also feeling secure within your finances, you know what I mean, and like all of the things that you have invested in, right? This is also investing in oneself and investing in one's life experience, right? Internally and externally, because the nines are talking about external things, and then the threes are talking about things within an environment, right? Because this is a thing within an environment, right? You might be feeling challenged by an environment that you were in that you didn't feel creative in, or you might have felt like your creativity was being stifled in an environment, right? That you felt like you had, it was just too much of a burden for you, right? The experience, whatever it is that you were doing. The Empress is talking about, being able to give birth to something else. You know what I mean? It's infinite possibilities, actually, because the threes are multiplicity, and it's being able to make something over and over again. You know what I mean? Um, The threes are also communication. So maybe you need to reach out, you need to communicate. Maybe your challenge is that you're not communicating what it is that you need, right? And that's causing you to feel burdened by the experience. Maybe that's making things more overwhelming for you. Maybe you are like being too stubborn, right? Because Saturn and Sagittarius, Saturn is trying to teach you something, right? Because Saturn definitely needs you to be humble, and Sagittarius is kind of like not a humble sign. It like not, isn't humble at all. I mean, it is definitely humanitarian, right? But it wants to do what it wants to do, and Saturn is like, maybe you actually need to do it this way because I'm telling you to. And you might just be being stubborn, and it's like you're not receiving what it is that is meant to come to you, right? Something with work, or something with getting to another place in terms of how you see yourself investing in your career, right? How are you investing in your career now, right? It's not about what happened in the past or all of the things that happened in the past, because Saturn has to do with time, right? And Sagittarius has to do with movement forward, okay? And these are all of the things that have occurred, and all of the things that have happened, and all of the things that you're dealing with, right? That you would like to see some kind of resolution with, or some kind of like you would like to solve a lot of these issues or solve a lot of these problems here. Okay. Also, some of you might be challenged by your mother, you know what I mean, or challenged as a mother. You might have a lot of things going on, and you might be feeling burdened by that experience, and you feel like you need some relief, or some sort of like need or something to be satisfied, right? Because the nines are related to the moon as well, and that's talking about a need for something as well, you know. Okay. So in your sun position, you have the sun, which is amazing. The sun is in Cancer right now. That's a fellow water sign, so that's trining you. So that's pouring positive energy, into any of the placements that you have in any water sign, right? Especially your sun, because your sun is in a water sign, right? Most of you, you could be a rising or you could be a moon. But the sun is definitely talking about passionate views towards yourself. And also, it's talking about self confidence as well. So I think that, you might be feeling confident right now. It's just like things are probably not working, or you're just a little bit too stubborn. Or maybe you're overly confident, right? Because this is the sun and the sun placement. It's good, but it's definitely, you have to also have a positive ego, and you have to be a good sport, and you have to be able to allow yourself to, um, you know, be mindful and aware of where things are becoming apparent to you, right? Because as the sun rises, right, as the sun comes up, it becomes more and more apparent to us, or more and more visible as the day goes on, right? So it's kind of like if there's some things that you might be questioning, or some things that are very aware to you, or very plain as day to you, right? This is plain as day. Then maybe you need to see those things for what they are, and try to see where the wisdom lies within that. But this is also freedom. The sun is free, you know what I mean? So this is talking about creative freedom as well. So you might be, going into a place or going into a time where you're going to have more creative freedom. You just have to be more confident that like you can do it, right? Or that just I feel like you just need to be more excited about life or something. Some of you could be having some heart issues, right? Some of you guys might be dealing with like heartbreak. That might be obvious to you. You could also be dealing with some family things. Maybe you guys are like celebrating family, like family reunion type things like that. I'm getting, because the sun is definitely talking about where you come from. The heart of you, right? And that's your family. And this is also children. The sun is representative of children as well. So some of you guys might be like having children, right? Because the Empress is pregnant in her photograph or in her picture. And the three is talking about being able to create, right? And multiply. And that's like reproduction. So threes, sixes, and nines sort of reproduce themselves over and over again. Nine definitely does. So this is probably that too. Some of you might be realizing that you're pregnant again, maybe, and it's a surprise, right? Because the sun is talking about life, the empress is talking about giving life and birthing life, right? Okay. And this nine of pentacles could just be talking about, a responsibility to provide, right? Or seeing your environment change, or appreciating like a shift or a change that's going to happen in your environment, adapting to a change that's physical. Because the Virgo card right here, Venus and Virgo, is mutable, so it's changeable, right? Being able to adapt to situations, right, in a meaningful way, right, hard way, because it's Earth. But then it's also like it's related to the moon, which is talking about cycles and evolution. And then it's also talking about, Sagittarius is like your heritage and where you come from. And just all of those things combined just lead me to think that some of you guys are getting pregnant, or you're pregnant and it's a surprise or something. And you have the moon in Taurus here in the moon position. That's so amazing. You have the sun in the sun position, and then you have the moon in Taurus in the moon position. And I was talking about the moon being in Taurus earlier in the Cancer season video. I'm going to post that later. It's already recorded. Um, but the moon in Taurus is talking about, being able to provide, being able to nurture, being able to bring something to an experience that involves other people that everyone can benefit from. That's what the sixes are kind of talking about to me. And the sixes represent, the sixth house, which is Virgo, which is opposite you. Okay, another Virgo card. And then that's talking about, daily life, right? So this is kind of like having to um, having to provide more, or having to be a little bit more creative with what you come up with in terms of like how you provide for other people. Or this could be like other people needing something from you, right? The moon is also talking about reflection and receiving things, because the moon is a satellite, and Taurus is talking about job and money and career and work, right? And this is Pentacles. So you could be receiving an opportunity to work, right? Or this could be something that comes out of something, right? Um, and it could be related to like something from the past, right? You might get like another opportunity. The sixes are definitely also related to habits, right? And habits in your body, right? Healthy habits within like what you think, what you speak, what you say as well. Because the sixes are related to the lovers, which is Mercury, and Mercury is communication and thought process, and psychology of the mind, right? Intellectualizing and being able to perceive things in a meaningful way that you can then verbalize it or express it, right, through words. And even writing as well. So this might have to do with like you receiving work that helps you express something, or you might have to do more like practice. You might have to do more like what do they call it? Sharpen your skills, right? Because the sixes are talking about practice, sharpening your skills. Some of you might have to sharpen your body, right? Some of you guys might have to like be better to your body. Be very, uh, you know, discriminate about what you put into your body, right? It's kind of like some of you guys are weighing yourself too much, right? Because the sixth house is like something that you do over and over and over again. Taurus is talking about your physicality, right? Your body. It's also sensuality as well. And the moon is talking about like emotions and sadness and feeling alone. So some of you guys could be having like insecurities within your body, right? You're watching your body change, because it's, even though because Pentacles and Taurus is talking about things that are fixed that don't change. But then the sixes are talking about things that actually do change, right? So you might be seeing something change that you didn't want to see change, right? Or you might be seeing something change that you didn't want to see changed at one point that's now changing again for you, right? Because you're doing the work and you're putting in the effort. Because, the sixth house does have to talk about, it talks about doing the work, right? Doing the efforts that it takes to get to something. It's also talking about practices, right? Um, this could even say that some of you guys need to make a decision in terms of like investing in your body, like like actually going to that gym or doing the gym membership more, right? Or going to the gym because you paid for the gym membership. Don't let it go to waste, because the six of pentacles doesn't want to let anything go to waste as well. Some of you might be feeling like you don't want to let your body go to waste. Okay. Um, but then some of you guys could be routinely giving your body up because the moon is talking about your body, right? And giving things, right? The Empress is talking about giving things. Sag is talking about giving things, right? And that's the Ten of Wands. And the Nine of Pentacles is. Anyway, that's for some of you guys out there. You might be giving your body. Um, but listen to Ganja Burn. That's a Nicki Minaj song, and she has this really cool verse where she talks about her body and it being a you know, a kingdom or something. Anyway, so yeah, all of those things with the Six of Pentacles, Moon and Taurus energy. It's an exalted card, so it's uplifting energy. Really understanding, right, and being cognizant of the things that are being shown to you and how you are interpreting them in a meaningful way, right? So it's not talking about being in denial of something. It's talking about understanding where the practices, healthy practices, are going to have to come from and applying them in a meaningful way so that you can actually see the change happen, whatever that is for you. In the past, we have Mercury in Cancer, and Mercury is the planet of communication, right? Like I said, this Three of Cups is related to this Empress here. So you might be, the challenge of the Empress and the creativity and the will, the understanding of the value in oneself and what you have to offer to you and not just what you have to offer to other people. Okay, we're getting back into you know, the body thing or the body image or the body goals or whatever hashtag you want to use. But the three of cups is communicating your feelings, right? It's also kind of like creating things out of a feeling of joy, right? Because the threes are also related to the third house, which is Gemini, which is playful energy, which is children, right? That's why the Empress is three and she's also pregnant here, right? So threes talk about playfulness, children. Maybe somebody was being childish, right? Maybe the way that somebody was communicating in the past was childish, and that sort of got in the way of things sort of developing, right, and evolving in a positive, meaningful way. And that might have been the burden on the relationship. Talking about, understanding your emotions, right? For you. It's kind of like when you spin or twist the lens and then things start to come into focus. So in the past, some of you might have realized your feelings were coming into focus for you in the past. You know what I mean? You had some good feelings about the past. It felt like things were like coming together. Some of you might have been a little bit too celebratory in the past. This is kind of like partying and drinking and just kind of like doing things to kind of escape from you're involved, escaping together, and they're relating in that way. It's kind of like um, this is communicating with your mother as well, and that bringing a stronger bond, right? Because I'm getting this is a bond with the mother as well. The Empress is talking about a mothering bond with the mother. The Three of Cups is also talking about celebrating a bond with your mother, or this could be celebrating a bond in general. It could be bonds with friends, right? Or just a bond with someone that you see as being important in, in your psychological process, right? Who you talk to and things like that. Okay, let me flip over your future card. It's the Knight of Swords. So this is Gemini. This is fire, which is passion, and it's air, which is, communication, right? Action through communication. So in the future, some of you might be communicating, right? You could be communicating and acting, right? You could be saying that you're going to do something and then you do, right? Or it could be happening quicker than you think it's going to be. Or this could be like you just kind of like acting quickly on something with purpose and responsibility, okay, which is good. This is kind of like the Knight of Swords is coming in and going for that Ten of Wands that's, heavy and burdening and weighing you down, right? The Knight of Swords is coming in and slaying it. So this is saying, this is Gemini as well. And Gemini is talking about opportunities to connect. And you're going to have some quick opportunities to connect with people, or you might be connecting, making some quick and fast connections with people. This could also be, just a verbal exchange with someone in the future that might be a little bit heated or fiery. This is also saying that you might need to allow yourself to, adapt to some changes in terms of like how you communicate with people. Maybe you need to be a little bit more direct in your communication in the future about something, because the knights are pretty direct. Some of them are more slow or slower than the others, but the Knight of Swords is being direct about communication, right, and not being intimidated by that, and having to say something or having to initiate communication to get things moving. Okay, because the knights are moving, right? This one is moving fast, and you're trying to get something done fast. You're trying to communicate fast, or you might be hoping that somebody gets back to you, communicatively about something. Okay, at the top of the reading, what we're dealing with, what you're coming into, right? The goal, the ascendant, is the Queen of Wands, and this is cardinal energy, so it's Aries. It's, Pisces comes right before Aries. It's the last sign before the zodiac begins again. So this is you, and this is you in business. This is you sort of like working well again, or working again, finding good business again, coming up with some business solutions for yourself. It's kind of like healing from some things, perhaps. And there's a level of strength with this card that you're going to be exercising. The queens definitely have a need to express something. This queen has a feeling, she's feeling, and she needs to express those feelings, but she has to do it through action. So there could be something going on deeper in the subconscious, right? Uh, Inside of you, right, with that water, that is going to show itself. It's going to come to the surface as action, right? With the Queen of Wands being here at the top of the reading. Um, and then you have an oracle card that kind of like slid itself out and showed itself to me. The moon in Aries, okay? And this is talking about protection. So maybe you need to protect yourself from people who are, kind of like trollish or predators, or maybe you just need to protect yourself from yourself. You know what I mean? Because this is the moon in Aries, and Aries is the self, and the moon is talking about security, insecurities, also, putting that, having that show up. So some of you guys might have a show up because you're protecting yourself, or some of you might be feeling like somebody might be protecting themselves from you, perhaps. You might be being quiet about something as to not get someone excited, or you might be hiding something so that you don't get anything jumped off, right? Because the moon is talking about hidden things, and Aries is talking about, the self. What are you hiding from yourself? You might be hiding from yourself, right? Something to protect yourself from yourself. I don't know what that is about, but that is something here as well. Okay, Pisces, that is it for you. I'm gonna move on to Aries at, what are we at? What are we at? What are we at? 30 minutes basically. That's good. I like that. Let me put this back in here. All right, Pisceans and cross watchers out there. We're gonna move on to Aries now because I was supposed to do both of them. End of the month. I'm so sorry that I'm late, but follow me on Instagram. I'm Providence Tarot there. I'm also NYC Kendrick. Oh, you're dealing with the King of Cups energy, Pisces. Aries. So Aries, maybe you're dealing with the Pisces, or you could be dealing with the Scorpio. You could also be dealing with a Libra, because the King of Cups is 1/3 of the sign that came before it, and King of Cups is fixed water, and that's Scorpio, right? And 1/3 of the sign before Scorpio, the sign that comes before Scorpio, is Libra. All right. So it could be a relationship with a water sign. It could be a relationship with a Scorpio. It could be a relationship with a water sign male, right? Or it could be dealing with, how you see this person. Your perspective might be changing about this person, right? Or might be changing the way that you feel about something, your perspective, or you may not be changing the way that you see a certain situation, right? Because the King of Cups is fixed, right? And fixed signs really kind of like are used to what they're used to. It's kind of like they get a little bit comfortable and a little bit set in like their ways, right? like their way. So in their ways emotionally that needs to gain more a more mature perspective if they haven't done this, right? But if they have done this, this is good, and this is sort of like a glorified feeling for this person. You might be feeling like they may have gained more wisdom, or you may be gaining more wisdom, right? This is also kind of like breaking through, you know, places where you may have felt like marginalized, or not by other people, but you may have just felt like you had to push through some things that were kind of tough for you, right? And you made it past those things, so you're feeling a little bit more stable emotionally. Um, because the King of Cups is fixed water, so it's kind of trying to control its feelings, right? So you have your feelings under control. I feel like, and if you feel, you want to get overly emotional about something, or you want to express something that you might be feeling through action, right? Because the King of Cups is Scorpio, and he's uh, ruled by Mars, and he's also ruled by Pluto. Pluto's retrograde right now, and Mars is in Cancer, which is a fellow water sign to this King of Cups energy. So that is trining this, and that it being Mars, it's connected to Scorpio. So Mars being in Cancer right now is good for whatever Scorpio person this is. At the bottom of the deck, before I cut it, I'm seeing that you have the Eight of Cups here. So this is talking about loss, right? So some of you might be dealing with loss, right? The loss of a King of Cups character, or you might be feeling the loss, and therefore you are this King of Cups person, right? Because Saturn in Pisces is talking about time, it's talking about learning lessons, it's talking about karma, and it's talking about how you understand and interpret, karma. Saturn is also talking about payment and paying things, because Capricorn kind of like, it's a Saturn rules Capricorn, and it's an Earth sign. So this could have to do with like you spending too much time with something that you once valued, that you now need to assert your a level of strength and courage to move yourself away from. Okay, and Pisces is talking about um, sacrifices, right? Understand letting go, right? This is like don't beat a dead horse, right? Because Pisces energy kind of wants to continue to go at those emotions, right? They're always changing, so it can stay with something and kind of like not get bored, right? So this might be like you staying with something and not really getting bored with it, but kind of maybe feeling like it's time for you to kind of like move on from something, right? It's almost like time has allowed you to evolve spiritually, because it is Pisces, so it's related to like, the idea of your spirit and how you feel inside. This could also be like something being revealed to you over time, but you not responding to that, right? You're not responding to the knowing that you have, or the feeling that you might be having, right? You're going against that feeling, right? I feel like I should put these cards back and continue, like shuffle some more. Pisces, what's going on? What is that loss? Was it a loss of life for some of you, or is it a loss of a way of doing things? Because that Scorpio card, the King of Cups, he's definitely very used to the way things have been, right? Definitely used to the way things have been. And what's going on in your sign right now? There's nothing going on in your sign, but Neptune is in your 12th house right now, which is creating some confusion in terms of like the 12th house is kind of like a weakened point, right, Aries? And it's only weakened because we've gone through all of the signs in the zodiac. There's been all of these different experiences, and it is the last one. It's the sacrificial lamb, if you will. And this talks about being able to create things and try to do more, right? Trying to get something out of a situation that might already exist, or it might be already like in play. Because the hanged man is like kind of saying that things are already in play. You just have to practice some vigilance to know when to come off the bleachers and get on the court. You know what I mean? Because the hangman is like, it's smart. He's sort of intellectualizing his way to get what he wants. Because the hangman definitely has a need. He definitely has, it's in his environment as well. He's aware of his environment and he's taking in cues from his environment, and he's taking cues from his dreams and his inspirations that he just gets from his environment, how you are inspired by your environment. So this talks about probably like a creative endeavor that you would like to see played out, but it's not the right time, or it's not like the right place, the right environment to do it in. So you might have wanted to you know do something, create something. You might have been inspired to do something, but this is saying that it's not the right time. But you'll know when the right time is coming. I don't know why your reading is is being like this. It's not letting me put a spread out. The world, right? So this is talking about completion. This is talking about karma and learning things, being able to transmute things and change things from one way to another, right? This is skillful, right? This is kind of like how you apply all of the things that you have learned and all of your your gifts and your talents, and you make something out of it. This is also talking about business. You might be completing a business deal, or you might be waiting for a business deal to complete itself. Um, the world is also talking about maybe you've graduated from one point to another. It's interesting because, the hangman is 12 and the world is 21, so they mirror each other. So mirrors are kind of like, reflections. So you might be reflecting on something, or something may have ended and now you're reflecting on that experience, yeah, and you're trying to see how you can get more out of this thing that has actually um, you know been manifested and satisfied itself, and you've seen it to completion. You're just like, what next? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you're trying to figure out what to do next, Aries. You know, you do have success because the world is success, right? And the hangman is glamour as well. So you could be feeling glamorous and you could be feeling like, success, but, there's also kind of like a need for more, because the 21 is a 3 and 12 is a 3, and that's talking about needing to nurture a need, or or wanting to satisfy a need, right? But this is also talking about your environment and how you function in your environment. Which environment are you functioning in? You know what I mean? Where are you in the world? The world is kind of like your place. Where is your rock? Where are you stable? Where is your foundation, right? Where is your what do they call it? Your flagship. You know how the flagship store is the main store? It's like, what is your main environment that you're in? Are you dreaming up an environment, right? Are you in denial about something um, that you kind of like feel like you want to happen, or you would like to see happen, but then the reality is that something that actually already exists is the environment. It is what you are secure and comfortable with. It's almost like you're dreaming up something when you already have that thing that you're dreaming up in another form, because the world is talking about form and formation, and the hangman is talking about formation too, but it's formation in your dreams and like your spirituality, in that place that, it's Neptune. It's like when people walk around and talk to themselves, or it's kind of like, those people that, like, I live in New York City, so like I see a lot of different people all the time. It's like when you see like the homeless people, or a little bit out of it, people walking down the street and they're saying stuff, and you're like, oh my God, was that like a spiritual message for me? Like, I really feel like you weren't talking to me, but like I'm getting like, you just answered a lot of questions for me. Or like I have a lot of questions that I'm asking myself now based on what you said. And you were looking off into the dumpster or something. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. That's Neptune. Whoa, where'd that come from? Or Neptune is like when you think you see something, but you like didn't, but you thought you did. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about like, you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm going to shuffle again so I can continue to talk to you guys about whatever it is that I'm talking to you about. Okay, I need to change my focus. Okay, so I'm going to move over to the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. This is saying that, this world is talking about completion, and this Ace of Swords is saying change of focus and a new beginning, right? And your understanding and your perception. It's almost like you're like, yeah, I am actually realizing something. I am like not denying something that is actually real here. I'm not going to abandon something, or I'm not going to leave something, or something has completed itself, and now you can change focus, right? The Ace of Swords is also reminding me of like Libra season, so the fall could be something for you, the end of September. That might mean something for some of you. The Ace of Swords is also talking about truth and the awareness of how you can take some information that's probably been given to you and utilize it to get to the next step in a situation, right? You might be, this is also action, right? So you might be wanting to take action on something based on your understanding that something has finished or something has completed, right? You're trying to change something up. You're trying to transmute something, right? It's like the idea or the inspiration of something that has been brought down, that you, so much so that you're like, okay, you've been thinking about it enough. Your perspective has shifted or changed. You have these concepts, right? And you're going to realize them, right? You're realizing them, and you're going to celebrate them through actively through expressing them, right? And then once you've done that, then it's almost kind of like you've made something. So you've transformed something, you've transformed yourself, or you've been transformed through an experience that has been a process for you that you've gained something out of. So you feel like it's sort of gradually like gotten to this point, and now you have a clear understanding of what actually is now, not what was before this world card came up and made you feel the completion of something. You now feel and know and see the completion of something, and the Ace of Swords is bringing you new inspiration, right? Because this is new energy. This is an old energy. The old energy has like boom, right? This Ace of Swords is a new energy. What am I doing? One more time. Ooh. Okay. All right, so I'm going to flip over this card that you have, y'all, from the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. I'm looking at it. I'm not like even going to guess. There's like 84 cards in this deck, so I can't really be guessing what card is going to come up. I can look at the bottom though. Fulfillment. Work. Interesting, right? And that is Saturn in Sagittarius. The world is Saturn, right? I'm giving it to you right there. Fulfillment, right? Are you fulfilled with something? Right? What did this completion that you are now aware of tell you or show you? Right? Are you listening? Right? Are you fulfilled? Has something fulfilled its purpose? Right? Because the world is saying that something has served its purpose, right? And you can now move on to the next thing of interest, which is this Ace of Swords, right? Because something has been fulfilled, or maybe you want to fulfill, because it's Sagittarius, going the distance with something, movement, right? It's travel as well. Because, Saturn is talking about making the effort to travel, or you could be like actively covering a lot of distance, because Saturn rules Capricorn, and Capricorn is like the mountain, and you have to sort of like terrain, right? Going like you have to cross the terrain. What do you call it when you cover terrain? I don't know. I can't think of the specific word, but it's like Capricorn covers terrain on the mountain, and Sagittarius covers terrain like from one point to the other. So it's kind of like you building something and you going from one place to the other. So you might be wanting to build something in a far off place or another place. It could be like business at a distance, right? So, you might be wanting to fulfill like a dream, or like, something in terms of career, because Saturn is talking about, Saturn is also talking about restrictions. I just got that. You might be feeling restricted in terms of like what you're able to do or what you're able to get done, or you might be feeling like an obstacle is getting in the way. Because Saturn and Sagittarius, like Saturn is slow and Sagittarius is 0 to 60, right? So you might be feeling anxious to fulfill something that maybe is going to take a little bit more time. You're not going to get instant gratification from this like you probably feel like you would like to. Aries, right? I want to see it happen now. I did something. Why am I not getting that result? Right? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, when a ram hits another ram, it expects something to happen. Okay, right? You're getting involved. So this is kind of like you wanting your experience to involve itself, or you wanting your process, this process that you're going through. You almost want like this intervening energy to come and expedite it, but it's like there is no intervening energy that's going to come in and expedite this for you because it's meant to happen in this way, in this time. It's kind of like there are some things that you just can't do quickly, like go to the moon or go to Mars. You know what I mean? Send, like, a robot to a black hole at the center of the universe. Those things take time. And Sagittarius is really talking about learning and getting like deeper concepts of learning, because Sagittarius is like the philosopher, right? I should know. I have Uranus and Jupiter in Sagittarius at 60 degrees, both of them conjunct. And I have Jupiter and, well, no, I just said that. And I have Neptune in Sagittarius conjunct the galactic center in my third house of communication. But it's kind of like you have to allow yourself to let things give things the time that they're needed, so that they can fulfill themselves, right? Because sometimes if you rush through something that needs more time or needs time, then it's kind of like, you might fuck it up. And then also at the same time, some of you feel like you have waited enough time and now it is time to act. You can actually do that thing that you wanted to do, but it's going to be obvious because the World card is very obvious. The Ace of Swords is very obvious. So I'm not giving you guys information to make you be like, am I really? I think I might be. Kind of. No, you would know if you are ready to make this change happen. Okay? Some of you, this could be like school. You might have fulfilled a goal of like getting your degree, right? Bam. Because this is graduation. The world is like graduation, right? Completion. Da da. Right? And fulfillment, right? This is kind of like getting farther in life, having more information, therefore you can go further, right? Okay, because it's like, Sagittarius believes that with, knowledge is power, and right, and you can go further in life with how you choose to inform yourself. That's why Sagittarius knows a lot, right? My father is a Sagittarius, and I'm telling you, riding in a car with him, I don't see him very often. I haven't seen him in like 20 years now, but I don't see him very often. But when I used to, he would always talk about something, right? Schooling me on something. But he probably didn't know that I had his ruling planet in Sagittarius, which was his sign. Look at your parents' birth chart, because your parents' birth chart could have a lot of things that correlate with yours. Just saying. So yeah, you might be trying to fulfill something. And now I'm gonna flip over this card that fell out. Influence, Mercury in Libra. Okay. So like I said, this is like the professor card and the teacher card. So we give a lot of weight to them. We like believe a lot of the things that they say, and we give a lot of, we're very impressionable, right? With this energy, because we're like, well, you know what I mean? Or we're just giving them that. We're giving them that authority to be that impression, to make the impression of us, right? So you might be giving someone the authority to make an impression on you, right? Because this is Mars and Leo. This is Mars's assertion, and Leo is, authority, right? It's an authoritative figure because it's the sun. So it's kind of like, and the sun is, Leo is the fifth house, and that's talking about institutions and mentorship, and, the places that we come from that make us believe what we're capable of, right? Or how capable we think we are based on where we've come from and what we've been through, right? Because you can criticize somebody all day long about something that you feel like they're weak at, but you really don't know anything else that they've gone through. You know what I mean? So you really can't speak on someone else, period. But this card is, the Seven of Wands is saying that you are that's okay, but you're fighting your way through spiritedly, or you have a you're encouraged through spirit to fight your way through something, right? Mars is assertion and Leo is authority. So you have to assert your authority in this situation so that you can get past it, right? And the seven is talking about reflection, and it's talking about the opinion of others, and it's talking about the consideration of what other people might be thinking or saying or doing, and how it relates to you. Relates, Libra, relationships, the seventh house, seven, right? It's also related to Cancer energy. So you might be feeling emotionally reactive to what's going on, to everything that's happening here. But I feel like you have a good heart at this point, and your good heart is what is actually sort of like getting you through it, right? You're overcoming a lot of adversity. Uh, but also at the same time, this could be like letting other people influence what it is that you do, right? Other people telling you what to do. So Mercury is like, opinion, thought process, verbalization, talking, understanding, making connections. So this is like, are you allowing yourself to be easily influenced by those people that you share close relationships with? Are people influencing you with positive feedback? Are they giving you negative feedback? Are you trying very hard not to say the wrong thing? Are you letting people lead you down the wrong path? And I don't mean like taking you down a dark road. I just mean like, letting people influence, your choice or your decision or your opinion about something, right? Um, because Libra wants everything to be fair, right? And it wants everyone to be happy. And it's kind of like, people that don't have your best interests, it's not really, you shouldn't be trying to make those people happy, right? And I'm not saying that people, even people that, aren't going to benefit from the choices that you have to make. Like, you don't need to necessarily really listen to everything that they're saying. It's a grain of salt, right? Listen, it's like take this with a grain of salt, right? And don't allow yourself to be easily swayed by anyone else. Or it's kind of like someone could be using like communication or just telling you what to do, basically. So don't let somebody else tell you what to do because it's kind of like you are really the person that makes. This is also saying that you may not know what decision to make, so that's why you're easily influenced, right? Because we're like, I don't know. What do you guys think? And then it's like you're more receptive to what other people's opinions are because you don't necessarily have your own. So it's like you're easily influenced, right? It's the impression I was talking about being being overly impressionable, right? Like that type of thing. But that is something that we're dealing with here, the influence of others and how you allow it to affect, the decisions that you make in terms of like where you'd like to see yourself go. Because sometimes when we have a new idea and we're like, I think that I want to do this. Okay, Knight of Pentacles came up, King of Wands. I mean, sorry, why did I say that? I don't know why I said King of Wands. Maybe you guys are dealing with like a fire sign, fixed fire sign. What is that? Leo. Or maybe there's a King of Wands. Maybe somebody who's like really persistent. The Knight of Pentacles is being able to adapt to real changes, right? Probably making a change to your significant everyday life, right? It may be you might be feeling intimidated by a shift that might be occurring, right? Or a change that may have occurred, or a situation that you might be facing that is causing you to have to make some real decisions and process some things. There might be like some documents here, or whatever decisions that you have to make might have to deal with you processing things in a different way. So that might involve like documentation, or it might involve like just dealing with items or itemizing something, data entry, looking at the details of like payments of things, Money might be coming in slowly, right? Due to the work that you've been doing, or it's like if you do more work, then more money will come in. You know what I mean? So you kind of are like constantly trying to stay busy doing work because you know if you always are doing it, or or putting that out there, then you're always going to get something back from it, whether or not it's monetary or it's like within fulfillment of one's duties, right? So you get satisfaction out of fulfilling your duties because you know it's always going to bring something back to you, right? And this is the Knight of Pentacles here, looking towards the King of Pentacles, right? So this could be like that younger energy being like, well, this is what matters to me. And the King of Pentacles is saying, well, that's small chump change to me, or that's like, that doesn't matter to me. I don't have any interest in that because like I have everything I have here. So it's kind of like you might be listening to the opinion of someone that has already manifested everything that they have in like their path, because the sevens are related to a path, right? And Libra's seventh house, and that's talking about other people influencing the path that you were out already set out on, right? Because it's like you didn't ask anybody to be born. You weren't like, can I be born? Are you guys interested in me being born? Am I good? Is it my birthday? Okay. Wow. No, nobody did that. Okay. So it's kind of like when you're living your life and you're going about your business and then you start letting other people influence you and tell you what to do and don't eat this. I mean if it's helpful then yes, because we can relate so that we learn things from each other. That's why Saturn is exalted in Libra, right? If we didn't have people to relate to, then how will we know anything about ourselves? Right. Okay, the self, Aries, Libra being the opposite of that, but also still kind of like having some energy of that, right? That essence, right? If I don't know you, then I don't know me. I'm trying to know me too. So it's like that type of thing. Aries, I didn't even give you like a spread, like a normal spread. This was kind of like freehand, but that's cool. You're kind of like just kind of like fly by night. Let's just fly by the seat of the pants type of thing. Just go for it. Put your mind to it, go for it. Get down and break a sweat, rock and roll. You ain't seen nothing yet. Get down and go for it. Right? Do you know that? Okay, I don't think that I'm gonna pull any more cards except for this one. Understanding that your choices come from you and they come from a place inside of you that makes you feel confident, right? It's like you have to be confident about the choices that you make, right? And when we allow other people to make those choices for us, we aren't really as confident about, what might come out of that, right? At least you can attach and you can put your print on your decision, right? It's like when you let other people make choices for you, it's like inheriting something that you didn't really want, right? Anyway, I don't know where that came from. So I'm going to end the reading there because I need to get out of here and go somewhere. It's my day off. I've already been out. Okay, and once I end this, I can put up that reading. But I will say this for all of you guys. I'm doing a special for July and Cancer season. So from now on, right, because it's like Cancer season, and even into July when it's Leo season, because that's still July. 20-minute readings for $20. You can email me at providencetarotkendrick@gmail.com. We did this last year, but it was kind of like later in the summer. But I'm just going to do it now earlier because, it's Cancer season and, people have been asking me. So I'm going to do it again. That's a little summer sale for you. So follow me on Instagram, Providence Tarot Kendrick, NYC Kendrick, Kendrick NYC, the tongue pop. If you would like to take part in this summer special, email providencetarotkendrick @gmail.com, or you could hit me up on my DMs on Instagram. But, hi, I love you too. Who's that? Look, strength card. So this is saying that you guys just have to have courage, right? Pushing past your fears of where you feel like you can't make something happen. Yeah. The strength card is also saying that you don't have to to use all of the tools in your arsenal, right? For sure. And it's Leo energy, like I said before. There's some Leo going on. There's some Scorpio, right? You could be trying to do something major, uh, do something major mildly. I don't know, or gracefully. It's kind of like you're not being too showy about something, or you're kind of like letting something happen, you know, gently. You're not like asserting your dominance or your power in a way that wouldn't be suitable, right? It would also be very smart for you to be um, just gentle right now, Aries, right? Don't be too abrupt. Um, yeah, just practice your will to stay encouraged. I will say that for sure. Okay, that's it.